person to begin her sharing is Dr. Sister Josephine, belonging to the Congregation of the Sisters of Mercy of Holy Cross, SCSC. She has completed MBBS and doing MD at St. John's Medical College. She has worked in different places and now she is working in St. John's Hospital, Bengaluru, including treating the COVID-19 positive patients. More than studying, she has been working for the poor. During the pandemic, she was treating a lot of infected persons. I wholeheartedly welcome dear sister to share on the topic, how did COVID-19 pandemic and its effects reshape my spirituality and mission as a consecrated medical doctor? Welcome, dear sister.
Yeah, good morning to one and all. I thank Brother Paul and all the team members here for giving me this great opportunity to be part of this panel to share my life experience. As I glance this whole year back to the COVID-19 experience, it is just, I can say, there were a lot of unexpected things that happened, but the expected things did not happen. Yes, very true. When the young patients were admitted to the hospital, we expected that they will get soon, faster well, and go home back safely. But unfortunately, they are no more. But there were patients who were 70 and 80 above who came with multiple comorbidities, but they are alive today with us. I am just reminded of St. Paul saying in 2 Corinthians 4:7, we have this treasure in clay jars so that it may be made clear that this extraordinary power belongs to God and does not come from us. Yes, as the year 2020 March, when the word of COVID-19 was heard, it was terrifying. And the moment someone was diagnosed to have COVID-19, no one willing to talk to them, touch them, and were so-called quarantine term was used everywhere. And we as doctors had no other chances than to be with the patients. But it was ultimate, the fantastic experience to be the patients who were treated like untouchable in their family were with us. I'd like to share some of my experience being with these patients. We used to take turns to go to different wards. As in month of June, when I was in COVID ward, I went for the rounds as elderly mother, early 60s, was admitted already a week and was unable to talk, unable to express herself, and not eating anything. And my senior consultant, who was already seeing her for 5 days, just told me, Josephine, just talk to this patient. I am not able to understand what is happening to this patient, and I do not know whether she will improve or not. I kept this in my mind as we finished the whole rounds. I came back to this patient and took some time to be with that patient. I found, yes, she is not able to talk or communicate to me. I called her son over the phone and talked to him. Was she at home? Also the same. But the son said, no, she was fine. Then he asked me and begged me, Madam, can I come and see my mother, whom I haven't seen for a week, and I am in your hospital in the ground floor, waiting to have the glimpse of my mother. We were not allowed anyone to be visiting any patients, and those days personal protective equipments were given only to the doctors and nurses who were very closely involved with the patients. But I took this risk to take this son inside, hoping that this mother will improve. I took the son and I told him, it is in your own risk that you also will be futurely infected. He said, I don't mind of that, but I want to have the glimpse of my mother. As he went in few minutes, she started uttering and the face expressions were better. Then he tried feeding her something, though she was not eating. The few minutes became an hour, and I found the son and mother had such a good time of an hour. And as I sent this son out, after an hour, the mother passed away. She's no more. But the son came back and acknowledged, saying, the last moment of my mother is unforgettable, and I had this great chance. It's because of you. Yes, I'd like to quote here Abraham Lincoln's words, don't be afraid to confront risks. It is by taking chances that we learn how to be brave. Yes, this very much touched me, though my senior doctors came to know that I allowed this attender the son, but I didn't feel bad for it. I found there is some meaning to it. As the days went on, I found each of that patient inside are not allowed to be with their family members, brothers, sisters, or their own mother or father, husband and wife, all left alone. But I found everyone as one, my own mother, father, sisters, as we were told not to touch the patient very close and not to remain very close to the patient for a long time, as we are also at high risk of getting infected. Though we were given 6 to 8 hours of duty, but at that time, I was fully with the patient, giving them the touch. I touched all the patient and they were very happy and many exclaimed, it is something different here we experience. Yes, it was not so easy for us to be with the patient as well, where we had to cover full of our things with personal protective equipments for 8 hours to not to have our own basic needs to be met, like going to washroom to put a drop of water in the mouth for 8 to 10 hours. But it was a great experience. I'd like to tell my own very personal experience where I expected no one should get COVID-19, where my both parents were affected in month of September. Either of my parents were, both of my parents were hospitalized on either side of them as I stood with full personal protective equipments, not able to show my own face to them. I found on the third day of admission, my mother was worsening. We expected she'll be no more, and the requirement of oxygen was going high, and the medications were not much helping. On third day, as my father seeing her troubles, he said, she's not going to make it up another day or another few hours. Just call your brothers and sisters, inform them to have the last glimpse through the window, as no one was allowed inside. But my sister went telling me, just keep your hands on the forehead of mother and pray, precious blood of Jesus, just touch and heal mother. We continued praying. From the day of admission to the hospital, we had online masses, prayers, rosary, but yet this was struck and we were quite upset, but we didn't leave our prayers. As we continued, as my mother was battling between life and death, my prayer was, Lord, you know how she has struggled in her life. If you wish, you touch and heal her. If you want, you take her to yourself. But all our wonder, on fifth day, she improved. And on 12th day, we took her home. By 2 months, she's back on her routine work today. As I look back and talk to my mother, she says, on the day of deathbed, she found Jesus sitting near to her, touching her forehead and healing her. Today, she witnesses whomever she sees. It's not just merely my daughter's presence inside the hospital, it was God who was with me. Yes, we religious can have a lot of our experience, but I found the simplicity of my mother and prayers has cured her today. As Mahatma Gandhi says, where there is love, there is life. I found this very much true. And there are still multiple experiences. I can keep talking to you all and telling you as the day was going on and the months rolling with COVID 19 from June, July, And October till November, we had cases in St. John's Hospital in hundreds and hundreds. We had gone up to 600, 500, where patients were unable to give full treatment due to lack of facility, as patient load were high, but the ICU beds were less. I witnessed many deaths in front of my own eyes, whom we wanted to save but unable. The early 40s, two patients we lost, and it was a common ward where 30 patients are placed in one ward. By seeing this, there was a patient who was just near to the patient who died. He thought to himself, this COVID 19 surely kills everybody. No one is going to be saved. So he said to himself, why should I be alive with this COVID 19? Better I take off my life. So he took the sharp object. Somewhere he found it near the nursing station. He cut his hand to end his life. That was quite upsetting to see. Yes, the whole ward, all 30 patients were quite upset and quite distressed, and they all had no hope by seeing two patients, very young patients, in front of their own eyes, struggling to live for a day and dying in the night. When the next day morning I reached to see this patient, he was quite upset. And I just touched him and said, what happened? He said, I'm not going to live anymore. Anyway, I will die of today evening or another hour. Then I just talked to him for a few hours, sitting near to him, though it was not my duty hours. Then I called his daughter over the video call from WhatsApp, and I told her, now onwards, you will call every half an hour, at least 2 minutes, you will talk to your father. She agreed to it, and it was such a wonder. He gradually improved from his anxiety and depression, and he got discharged on the 15th day of admission. And he came back after 2 weeks, as we couldn't show our face while we are treating them, as we were wearing personal protective equipments. He came to OPD to visit me to say, I am alive today, it's because of you. So the daughter and father was ever grateful to me. Yes, there are such a lot of experience to keep telling you all, but I tell this was such an amazing and wonderful experience to go on in life, to go my whole religious life to think of this post and during COVID 19 endemic. I always remember Mother Teresa saying, I am just a small pencil in the hand of God who is writing a love letter to the world. Yes, this is great opportunity given to me to study this and to give more love and touch, healing touch to all the patients. As mother and son always has the closeness, you all know, as you each one of you experience your mother's love. I had another incident where both mother and son were admitted, and mother was admitted initially itself to ICU, and son was little better, and he was kept in the ward. Later, when he was shifted to ICU, as he was very bad in his condition, as we brought the patient, he arrested, cardiac arrest was happened, and we couldn't survive him. By seeing that, the mother said, that's my son. Is he alive or dead? We were speechless. Yes, there are a lot of moments where we could save lives and say, yes, it was God. There were times where we could say, we are also helpless. Though many new medications were found, many times we remained helpless in these such a situations. There were patients we just blessed with the last sacrament to go in peace. There were times where we thought they may not no more alive, but they are with us to glorify God. Yes, I thank each one of you for your patient listening, and I always grateful to God, for I feel much less do I deserve, but much more God has given me. So I am grateful to each one of you for this great opportunity to share my life experience with you all. Thank you.